So thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. It has been months since my last action figure review. I assure you, it has nothing to do with YouTube's restructuring. It has everything to do with simply me being able to find time in my busy life to take time to review action figures. So this video is a very quick update to let you know that I am still collecting. Here are some pieces that I've put together since my last video, and I assure you I have way more pieces, whether Hot Toys, Mezco, Storm Collectibles, Marvel Legends, and the list goes on. So rather than to put a video out and simply tell you what I've been doing and what's next, I'm actually going to jump right into reviewing one of these figures. So before doing so, I just want to let you know that, again, today I don't have a lot of time. So with this particular figure that I'll be reviewing, I'll be doing no edits. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to mess up throughout the video. And that's okay, because what I want to do is just to get back to putting out some content, even if it's only a few videos per month. So for those who stuck around, thank you very much. And for those who are tuning in, thank you very much as well. Now let's get started. Thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop. On today's review, we take a look at the Mezco's DC's Aquaman. Today I'll be reviewing this figure in 6 categories: accessories, articulation, design, is it essential to your collection, functionality, and price. Once our scores are totaled, I'll give you my opinion if this figure is a pass or a purchase. So let's see what Aquaman comes with. Right out of the box, it doesn't look like a lot of accessories, I guess, with this huge white area, but I assure you he comes with enough. So 8 pair of hands in total. And I really like the gloss that's on the hands. I'm pretty sure some collectors may have an issue with this, but I really like how it looks. And to me, it goes along with the costume. So he comes with a trident, which is done in a very good gold, especially up top. Here, the plastic is much harder. As you get down, it's a lot softer. And you have just a continued design that just works its way all the way to the end. So I really like this. In addition, he comes with a shoulder harness done in the same gold. I can't make out if this is an animal. It appears to be a smiley face or some sort of facial structure, but that could just be me placing that on this, and it may not be the case. But I really like it, and it's done in a soft plastic as well. On top of that, we have Aquaman's crown, and this is very hard. Also done in the same gold, which I like. And count them, we received 3 interchangeable heads. So let's start with this one. And I really like this head sculpt. What really gets me is the hair that's sort of just being pushed back by the water, so that you can tell that this is a head sculpt that he would be wearing underwater. I really like the lines that are in the face. Very good head sculpt. Moving on to the other. The hair is also being pushed back by the water, sort of in a different direction, which I really like. And this one, he has a screaming face. I really like when we get variety, not just the same portrait. So I really like this. And the inside of the mouth is done exceptionally well. The teeth, the tongue. And then we receive more of a plain facial sculpt, which I like as well. Out of the 3 at this moment, I am not sure which one is my favorite, but I do like all 3, and that's normally not the case when we receive more than one head sculpt. And moving on to the last accessory, we receive an Aquaman stand. So for accessories, I'm giving Aquaman a 10 out of 10, just to think that we get 3 interchangeable head sculpts. In addition, we get a number of hands as well as accessories. I am really happy with what we've received on the accessory part. So for articulation, starting off, what I see that I really like is that the head and the neck is separate. So let's just start with moving the head. So you're able to rotate a full 360 if you choose to. You get a decent amount of pivot just using the head. The head is able to look up about that much. It's able to look all the way, well, it's able to look somewhat down just using the head. So now using the combination of the neck and the head, you get a great amount of pivot, pushing the neck back and the head forward. Maybe I pushed too far. Still doesn't look up as much as I would like it to. It does look all the way down, and you get great range of movement there. So the arm is able to bend up about that much. Due to the material being used, I'm going to say the arm can rotate a little more than I thought, but I wouldn't push it past this point. You do have an upper bicep cut. Elbows are double jointed, bending in about that much. The wrists are able to rotate and hinge up and down depending which way you have the hinge. So moving on to the torso. So you have an A and a lower part, which I'm going to call the B. So just using the A, you get a good amount of rotation, decent amount of pivot, not much, but some backward movement, not much, some forward. Using the combination of both, better range of movement, more pivot. It's able to lean back about that much, forward about that much. The belt is a floating piece. Lifting it up, you do get some waist movement. So the legs are able to go all the way out. I'm very surprised. They're able to go up about that much, which isn't a lot at all. They're able to move back about that much. You do get some upper rotation. Double jointed knees bending in about that much. The ankles are able to move forward, which is good. Down. And a decent amount of pivot on the inside as well as the outside. And just going back up a moment, you do get a butterfly joint here. So for articulation, there are some limitations. However, overall, it is a pretty decent figure when it comes to movement. So for articulation, I'm going to give Aquaman an 8 out of 10. So moving on to design, Mezco killed it. Man, I really like how they incorporated the original style of Aquaman. You know what? Let me not say original. Let me say the Aquaman that I remember. The fabric that they use looks fantastic. I really like how the orange just shimmers throughout the light, as well as some areas of green. Having the figure in hand, all of it looks, I mean, of course it's fabric, but this seems like some sort of silk material. The pants appears to be made out of some leather type material. I like the contrast from, I guess, it's not really a matte, maybe a semi-gloss finish going into a gloss finish on the boots as well as the hands. And if you ask me, it looks phenomenal. The gold is done exceptionally well. I really like how they decided to have the upper region of his chest out, to have the material stop here and to place the gold around it. It really looks extraordinary. The Aquaman symbol here is very clean. It's detailed throughout. I like the fins in the back. So this is all that I could have asked for an Aquaman figure. In addition, just want to show something very quickly. The fact that Mezco decided to incorporate hair that mimics what hair would look like in the water is an extraordinary detail. So for overall design, I'm going to give Aquaman a 10 out of 10. And just before moving on, I just want to show one other detail. Mezco has improved so much with their stitching. It is just so clean. It is done in a great place instead of being on the outside like some of the other stitching is on some of the other figures. So bravo. So is Aquaman essential to your collection? If you are building the Justice League, which I am, and if you do not collect from other lines like DC Essentials or any other Mattel DC figures, or I know Reveltech now has some DC figures, but yes, he is essential. I'm really trying to put together a Justice League. This is a figure that I was waiting to have, and I'm so happy to have him in my lineup. So I'm not going to take much longer with this. So as far as being essential to your collection, this version of Aquaman, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. So for functionality, let's remove the head for a moment. Let's place on this piece, which I am assuming goes on his right shoulder. I didn't look at the instructions. I am assuming it goes on maybe, nope, that is not going to work. Maybe, no, maybe like this. I think that's about right. Okay, so that may have looked a bit complicated only because I didn't know how it goes. I'm assuming that this is exactly how it goes. Yeah, this is exactly how it goes. So that fits on pretty easily. Let's find a head sculpt that I haven't put on as of yet, which I think is, did I use the shouting mouth? I don't know. So we're going to put on the shouting mouth. The head goes on easy enough. This you can finagle with to get it to sit right. I feel like when I first put it on, it was much better. I think I like it now there. So now let's move on to the hands. I'm going to look for one of his gripping hands. So you get a gripping hand for both sides, though I feel the trident is supposed to go on the right side. So what I'm going to actually do before putting the hand on the figure, I'm going to actually see how hard it is to put the trident in. I want to be careful because I don't want to mess up the gloss on the hand. So I'm going to pull the fingers back as much as I can. Try to lift the thumb. Oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. So let me just place this down for a moment. The hands pop off easier enough. And they go on. So I'm a big fan of having a peg system in the hand. This doesn't have it. However, it went on very effortlessly. And last but not least, let's put on his crown, which has a magnet on this end of it. So you can simply just attach it to the front like so. I feel like maybe it sits a little bit short. However, looking at where the beak of the crown stops around the crown of his nose, I think that's exactly how it's supposed to be. And now that I have light shining on, you could actually see the gloss inside of his mouth. Just looks like a wet mouth, like slobber. So I just thought that I'd point that out because it's a great detail. So this is how we look with all of his accessories. And I can say that I like it. Not the biggest fan of the crown. I think it may look better on one of the other heads, but I still like it. So the fact to incorporate the magnet, I thought that was genius. So now here is where Mezco really shines, and it's the fabric that they use. Whatever they use to place around their toys, they need to make a deal with Hot Toys. Because even though, if you look here, this looks like it's completely fitted against his legs or his body. You don't see really any wiggle room. It is not baggy. But the moment you start to move the material, you have some wiggle room. The fabric is not as tight, which allows you to pose the figure, and that is extraordinary. It's the same thing for here. I don't know how far you can get the arm to turn, but I don't want to mess mine up. I can see it bunching. That's good enough for me. So as far as functionality, I'm going to give Aquaman, a 10 out of 10. So for pricing, Aquaman comes in at $80. That is before shipping. That is before tax. I made the mistake of ordering mine directly from Mezco. So I paid very expensive shipping, which was $11 or $13. Also, the tax was around the same. So for this figure, I paid about maybe $100 for $106. So had I been patient, I could have gotten the figure for $80 shipped. So what does he come with for that price point? We get 3 interchangeable head sculpts, which are all fantastic in my opinion. We get a crown, which helps to make each head sculpt look that much different. We also get a trident. We receive 8 pair of hands in total, and we receive a harness that goes around his torso, which allows or gives him an extra look as well. So for the price point of $106, it is way too much. However, seeing that you can actually get this figure for about $80 shipped from many places, including eBay, Amazon, and some other online retailers, which I won't name. This, in my opinion, is one of Mezco's best offerings of the year. The fabric that's used is extraordinary. I feel that the sculpt work, the heads, the color, the details on this figure is great. And to look at a classic and somewhat cheesy design, I am super happy with the figure that Mezco gave us. So if I was looking at the price point of $106, which I paid to get this figure early, I would have been giving it a lower score. However, I'm going to look at the price point of around $85, which most people can get this figure for shipped. And for pricing, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, which gives Aquaman a Cliff score of 58 out of 60. So now, is he a pass or a purchase? I think it's very clear that this figure is absolutely a purchase for me. I'm very happy to have it in my collection. And it's one of those figures to where if you were to buy more than one, I feel that you still can get value out of it. Here's Aquaman on his own. Here's Aquaman standing next to Marvel Legends Multiple Man, and I actually thought Multiple Man was larger than Aquaman as I was holding him in hand. It doesn't appear to be a big figure once you hold it. And here's Aquaman next to Mezco's Green Lantern, which I haven't reviewed as of yet. Hopefully I'll get that out soon as well. So thank you for tuning in to Mr. Cliff's Toy Shop, and I hope to see you again. Very quickly, want to just let you know that this is a peg system, so you could actually take it apart or put it on by simply placing the peg in the hole here.